VoxWave now features a streaming radio media player on our website's front page, where local artists can get their music played 24/7. For more information on getting your music in rotation or to perform live at our studio, contact Reg Gaskins at 240-832-4455.
Android users, the VoxWave app is now available in the Google Play Store. Download the app today on your Android device to listen in and view programs.
Business owners looking for a place to advertise your business and promote your products and services? VoxWave is the right place. We have over 10,000 views a day and 70,000 listeners a month. For more information, contact Reg Gaskins at 240-832-4455.
The world's #1 streaming music station, VoxWave.com.
We have your favorite shows on VoxWave.com. Check out our lineup. The Kim Show, Mondays, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. In the End We Win with Curtis, Mondays, 8:15 p.m. to 9:15 p.m. Cooking with Flavors with your host, Chef Flavors, Tuesdays, 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Slick Daddy Rick, Heartbeat Congo Hour, Tuesday, 8 to 10 p.m. Impact the World Radio TV Show with Cheryl Woods, Wednesday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. The Digital Digest with your host, Digital Ace, Wednesdays, 3 to 5 p.m. Live Set Wednesdays with your host, Frank Dent, Wednesdays, 8 to 9 p.m. The BGKH Show with your hosts, Dominion and Epic, Wednesdays, 9:15 to 10:15 p.m. You, Math, and Me with George Randall, Thursdays, 10 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Then, on Thursdays at 5:30 p.m., The Prayer, Praise, and Deliverance with Elder Thurman Gorman Jr., The 640 Evening Show, Thursdays, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. The Peace in the Morning Show with your host, Darius A. Stanton, co-host, Delicate Daryl Barnes, and Queen Ayakidobi, Fridays, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. The Hall Street Journal with your host, Robert Hall, and co-host Clarence Sanders, Fridays, 10:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Frank, The Success Principles, Friday, 12 noon to 1 p.m. Chanel's 3 Cents, Friday, 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. The Daryl Allen Harrison II Crime Victims Foundation Show, hosted by Daryl Harrison II, every Friday from 3 to 4:30 p.m. The Rush Hour with DJ Drew and Janique, every Friday from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Different Minds Show, hosted by DJ Bam 640 and DJ Andre Michael, and your co-host, MC Fran, every Friday, 9:15 p.m. to 11:15 p.m. The Healer Blues Show, with host Ron Jackson, every Saturday, 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Hour of Power, with your host, Reverend Winters Rogers, every Saturday, 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. And again, the Prayer, Praise, and Deliverance with Elder Thurman Gorman Jr., Saturday, 11 p.m. to 12 p.m. And don't forget Four Sisters Live Talk, Saturday at 12:30 to 2:30 p.m. Turning dreams into reality talk show with your host, Tashika L. Green, every second Saturday, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Walk in Newness 24/7 with Missionary Antoinette, Saturdays, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. News, ULN, news and analysis, information, sports, and Black history with your news anchor, Roderick Carter Willis, 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Step your game up with the Youth Project, hosted by DJ Main and DJ Low Hefe, Saturday, 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. And don't miss The To Go Show with Kim Brown, Saturdays 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. I am Dr. Sharon Show, each Sunday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., featuring The Grind, Entrepreneur Network Spotlight, and Write the Book Now. The Riri Williams Show, Fashion and Style Hour, every first Sunday from 3 to 4 p.m. Real Talk 101, Sundays 6 to 8 p.m. And every third Sunday from 3 to 4 p.m., the Third Sunday Tea Talk Show with Dr. Akita Pearson. Gospel Live TV Show, with host Gloria Mello each Sunday from 8:15 p.m. to 9:15 p.m. Listen to all your favorite shows on VoxWave.com.
VoxWave.com. VoxWave.com, streaming your favorite jazz, blues, and R&B 24/7.
Far through time she has traveled, and she's watching out of sight. She knows, let her guide you. Listen if you can, you know she's wise, and she'll find you. Try to understand. In your heart she'll be hiding. She's with you constantly, and somewhere from the darkness she will slip into your dreams, and you will know by the stillness in the air. You'll feel she's here, and if you will it, maybe she'll appear. She's an angel of the night. She's an angel, she's a guardian of love. She's an angel of the night. She's an angel, she's a guardian of love. When she speaks, it's like music, universal melody.
Welcome to Time for a Change show with Sherry.
And McYon.
And we are here. It's every Monday that we're here on VoxWave.com from 6:30 to 8 p.m. every Monday. So make sure that you tune in.
And we thank you guys for tuning in another Monday.
Another Monday.
So how was your weekend?
You know, I kind of look forward to Mondays.
I know,
you remember
right?
how Mondays used to be like such a drag? Like, I kind of look forward to Mondays now. Like, it's not as much as a drag anymore.
I know.
I hate Wednesdays, though.
Why?
I don't know. It's like that middle of the week thing, and you still got Thursday and Friday to go. I don't know. It's just, maybe it's mental. I'm not sure.
Well, maybe you need to get another show for Wednesday to help you through the week.
Okay.
So we had an exciting weekend, really an exciting week.
Yeah.
You know, there was a lot of things
There's a
that
lot
was
going
on, you know, especially with it being election time and everything, with a lot of politicians, candidates. They're having a lot of events that we're trying to go and check out. So, so share with our listeners, what did you get into this week?
So last Thursday, I attended the the town hall forum for the state's attorneys candidates. They had what's her name? Aisha Braveboy. They had Mike
Lyles was there,
and Victor Ramirez. They're running for state's attorney, and so they had this forum, and I was just really shocked. I don't know why, but I was really shocked to come into the auditorium, and it was not crowded. It was held at Prince George's Community College, where you think that those children should definitely be engaged in the, in the election, that's coming up. And I was just really shocked to not see a lot of African Americans in attendance. It really bothered me, but I did stay for 90% of it. And they did very well answering the questions and everything, and the questions that they asked a lot of questions. The audience asked a lot of questions about domestic violence and how they were going to address it and how they were going to handle it. They had some very good feedback on things that they wanted to implement and things that they wanted to do. But like I said, it was really disheartening not to see a lot of youth out there and not realizing that this really is going to impact them in a major way.
Yeah, we always say that, they so caught up on the presidential election. Like, I guess because it's so cool to go out and go live and saying that, I voted today for the president of the United States. Yeah, you did that. But then you don't show up for your local elections.
And that's where your power lies.
That's where your power lies. And that's where you're impacted at.
And that's where you're impacted.
Because on the local level, it's a thing of what goes on in your community. How do they handle homelessness? How do they handle the elderly? How do they deal with domestic violence?
Yeah, and I mean, even down as simple to, are you upset that you don't have adequate grocery stores and shopping in your neighborhood? Well, this is why, because you're not involved. So what happens is the developers continue to come into our neighborhoods and dictate to us what we'll have in our neighborhoods because we're not involved.
We're not at those meetings.
So by you not being involved, and I would tell people all the time, we just fought a 7-Eleven coming into our neighborhood. We don't want any more 7-Elevens. We already have a 7-Eleven, and then every gas station has a carryout, and every gas station has this, and then we even have a 7-Eleven that carries beer and wine. We don't need any more liquor stores. We don't need any more 7-Elevens. And then they'll go sit at my job where I work, and I can't disclose, but where I work, and they'll do studies on the African American community to say that, oh, you're unhealthy. Well, guess why we're unhealthy? You're giving us damn 7-Elevens. You're not giving us a grocery store. We don't even have a grocery store. So how can we be healthy? So it was just really disheartening, and I'm just going to continue on my mission to get on these young people that it's important that you get involved.
Yeah, because it's like you said, you can stop those things from coming to your community. We always want to count how many liquor stores we have and how many carryouts we have. Whether we're there at the table, then we can stop them from coming in. Because in my former life, I remember I used to work for an organization where my office used to go out into the community to inform the community of what was going on, what the developers wanted to bring. And at those meetings, the community wouldn't show up. But the developers knew that you wouldn't show up.
They know that you're not going to
They know that you're not coming. And so as me being an African-American woman with these things coming into the African-American community, the only way we got people to come out to those meetings was to feed them.
You got to offer them food.
And we had to be real with it. You know, we had to offer them food to get them to come out to see what's going on in their community, of why these low-income houses is shutting down, and then they're coming back building mixed income. And you're hearing on one side of the spectrum that you can be able to come back into the neighborhood, but on the other end, you'll never be able to afford that.
You ain't coming back.
You will never be able to afford that mixed income, that mixed housing there. But you don't know that until you come to those meetings.
It's not a planned community for you. Just in case you didn't know, it's not a planned community for you, and they're not thinking about you.
No.
Now, they just recently, I know in D.C., they had some meetings about low-income housing, creating more low-income housing. But you have to be involved and you have to be there, because once again, it sounds good, right? But if you're not involved, they still will create an environment that does not include you.
Yeah, and then you got to come out, because you got to know how to be able to hold them accountable.
You have to.
You got to know what they're saying they're going to do, so when they don't do it, because 9 times out of 10, they're not going to do what they say in the beginning. But you have to have that information so you can be able to hold them accountable, and also hold those candidates accountable that's in your community, that's representing your community, that's in bed with the developers.
Yeah, that's what they're in. That's exactly what they are.
Yeah, so you have to come out, and every voice needs to be heard. It's going to take all of us for change, and so we have to make sure that we get back involved in our local elections and know who those people are.
That in June the 26th, Prince George's County, or is it all of Maryland? It's D.C. too, though, right? D.C. has an election too, right? So everyone will be voting on their local levels June the 26th. Please get involved. There are websites out that are available to you. All you have to do is Google it. Google is your best friend. All you have to do is Google it, read up on these candidates, start attending these forums and town halls, and figure out who you're going to vote for, who stands for what you stand for, so that we can make sure that we can make some change happen. Because like the show is titled, it's time for change.
And that it is. And that it is. So we have come up on our first break, and we have some awesome guests in the studio today. We do have Shannon D. Robinson here. She's an author. She's an entrepreneur. She's here to share her story. And we also have Jesus Gang in the studio. Hey. And they're going going to perform. They are awesome. Yes, they are awesome. So also, we just wanted to let you know that this is April. April is Sexual Abuse Awareness Month. So that is something that we will definitely be tackling this month. We will have a lot of survivors and overcomers on the show to share their story, to let you know that you are not alone in this and that there is help, and we're going to be able to share some information with you. So we'll be right back. You're watching Time for Change.
Hello, 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 and welcome back to Time for a Change with Sherry
and McKeon.
And we are back in the studio. As you can see, we have our lovely studio guest here with us live, Shannon D. Robinson. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So let me introduce you real quick, and we'll get started. Okay? So Shannon D. Robinson honorably served her country for 21 years in the United States Air Force. While serving her country, she worked diligently towards her college education, eventually graduating from DeVry University with a Bachelor's of Science in Human Resources Management. She has been featured as a writer for the Bounce Back DNA movement and has co-authored 2 books, Wounds Healed, Scars Revealed, and She Held Me Up. Shannon lives by the mantra that any part of her story that is unable to share still has her bound, and therefore is passionate about sharing her story so that others may be encouraged in their own journey to healing.
Amen.
Awesome. And that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
That's definitely what
It's
it's
totally
about.
what life is all about.
Absolutely. We tend to think that we're the only ones that have certain experiences when you're in the midst of it. And because some people don't like to share their story or be transparent, then you're trapped there like, oh my God, I'm going through this alone. But the minute you hear somebody say, I've had that same experience, then you can begin your own freedom and your own walk towards forgiveness or healing.
Absolutely. It is definitely just freeing, like you said, just to hear that someone else has that experience.
Exactly.
Because you do feel alone. You feel alone in those different situations. So, with that being said, tell our listeners who you are and share your story with them, and then we'll have some questions in between that.
Okay. So my story is I was sexually molested, so I'm a survivor. My biological father, began molesting me when I was 4 or 5 years, until he decided to abandon our family and he went on, which is what he needed to do. And I carried for 30-some years this hatred in my heart for him. I had a very hard time forgiving him. I couldn't stand the sight of him. And around 35, 36 was when I began the process of forgiving him, because I realized that he had gone on with his life, but I was still trapped in this unforgiveness and holding this grudge, and it was only affecting me. People who we have a hard time forgiving because we feel like if we forgive the person, then we're somehow letting them off the offense.
Right.
But it has nothing to do with them. It's all about our own healing, our own freedom.
Right.
So once I was able to get to that place where I could actually articulate what had happened to me without becoming enraged, and I could begin processing forgiveness so that I could forgive him and move on with my life, because I was definitely
At what age
down.
did you have that moment where you were able to forgive?
I was 36. So it was a long time before I was able to. And I never realized how it was affecting me, but it actually did affect my life, not being able to forgive him. It affected how I relate to men as well. So yeah, I had to reach a place of forgiveness.
Oh, wow. Well, Shannon, I just want to say I thank you for your courage and your strength to be able to share your story, because that's not easy to do, especially when you have to get up there and be so transparent in front of people and expose yourself. But you understand that it ain't about you.
Right, exactly. It's not. It's about helping someone else, especially reaching a point of forgiveness. I find that my passion is helping people forgive, because I meet a lot of people who are struggling with that. And they don't understand that they have to forgive. So that's what I'm passionate about.
Yeah, and that is so big, because forgiveness is always for you. You know, and like how you said, I've always heard people when they talk about forgiveness, they don't want to forgive because it may seem like I am forgiving the nature of what happened, but it's not that. I'm not forgiving that. I'm still going to hold that person accountable for what they did, but the forgiveness is to free me so I can heal, so I can move on. Because we do, when we don't heal properly, we take it into every other relationship.
Yes, we do. And I did. Absolutely did.
I can imagine that must have definitely been that dark cloud just hanging over you all of those years. Had he ever admitted or apologized?
No, and funny you say that. When I finally reached a place of being able to forgive, I had considered reaching out to him or trying to find him and having a conversation, letting him know that I had forgiven him. And then a friend of mine said, well, what if he denies it or anything of that, then you're going to open Pandora box. Exactly. Yeah. And so I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? Because I had prayed about it. I was like, God didn't ask me to have this conversation with him. He only asked me to forgive. So that's all I was entitled to do. So it doesn't matter. Yeah. And the last step for me was being able to pray for him. So I have prayed that he will ask for forgiveness.
Right.
So.
And that's my goodness, that's huge.
Yeah, no, that's huge.
That's huge because that's what it's about, saving souls. That he still, even though that in that place that he was in and he did that, his soul still needs to be saved, and that's what's most important.
Exactly. Right.
Oh my goodness, that is just
that's
huge.
That's big, and and that's big for you to continue to be able to articulate that to those who are suffering inside, so that they know it's not just for you, but then to also pray for the soul of the person that.
And that's hard to do. I mean,
it's hard.
It takes a long time to get there, but it's necessary.
It is.
Definitely necessary.
You know you've completely forgiven and healed once you're able to get to that point.
Yeah, when you can sit and pray for your enemy and your enemy.
Well, yeah.
You have to pray for your enemy, and it's so true. You know, God requests us to do that, and because it's just so needed. It's so many things that people are suffering with. With this month being Sexual Abuse Awareness Month, I'm so glad for you to be able to come on and share this story, because these are the taboo stories that's not talked about. That because it happened in our homes and it's our dads and our grandfathers and uncles, people usually sweep those things under the rug and not deal with them. But people are hurting. I have a girlfriend that was raped. She was 5 years old, and she was raped by a 21-year-old cousin. And the family knew. She was the 5th family member that he raped. So all these children had to be tormented because adults didn't want to deal with what was going on. So now it is time for a change. To say that, we will longer keep sweeping these issues under the rug because so many people are hurting.
Absolutely. And that leads to what is going on further in our community: mental illness, domestic violence. That's what's leading to a lot of these issues, is that people are holding on to all of this pain. And all of this hurt, and they're not sure which way to turn, what to do, and even if somebody will even believe them.
Absolutely, especially with the victim. And I'm glad you said that, because now that we're seeing in domestic violence, like with a lot of men, a lot of that anger and rage is coming from they have been touched as younger boys. They have been touched by coaches. They have been touched by men in the church, people that they have trusted, and they don't know how to deal with that pain. And a lot of times it looks like they run out and they become very promiscuous. They lead a life of alcohol and drugs, trying to cover up the pain instead of dealing with it. But because we live in a society that tells men that when they cry, it's a sign of weakness, and if you're touched by an older woman, then consider that a good thing.
You're macho, right?
And and then you have this young man going through life that has been traumatized. And so we have to now go back to changing our language and how we talk and how we deal with these things.
Exactly.
And it's funny you mentioned young men being touched by the older women. That seemed to be a badge of honor. I was just having a conversation with a group of men, and they were all bragging about the fact that their first was a woman that was in her 30s or 40s. And I'm thinking, that's not appropriate, though.
Yeah, that's not.
And if the tables were turned, if it was a man who did that, then it would just be a big problem. But it's not a badge of honor.
Yeah. Right. So I'm glad now that we now have the platform and the forum to talk about that. We had a guy on the show a few weeks ago. His name was Marco Hamlin. That's one of my brothers in the fight. He was sexually abused as a child by men and women. And, he grew up in the foster care system. But I'm so glad that now we have men that's willing to come to the front lines to say, hey, this happened to me. A woman touched me inappropriately, and it traumatized me for the rest of my for like a majority part of my life. It wasn't a badge of honor. I felt bad. It traumatized me. So I thank him for for being so courageous to come forward with that, to share that, and as yourself as well, because this is what it's going to take. They need a face to these stories.
Exactly.
Because that makes it real.
Exactly.
That makes it real. When you see a face, you say, this is really happening. This has really happened to someone, and this is their life.
And that you can survive it.
Yes.
You know, I thank God because I know I've heard stories of people who did not survive it.
Mm-hmm.
And so because he brought me through it, then I know I can't keep quiet.
Mm-hmm.
So to see somebody's going through it, to see me or other people who are here, we survived it, and we went on to do well, gives others encouragement and hope to know
yes,
they
it
can
does.
as well.
Yes, it does.
It does. It really does. And we're gonna go ahead and take a quick break. But when we come back, I would definitely like for you to talk to our listeners about if they are experiencing or have experienced it with their children, or if they are listening right now and they are that victim, and talk to them when we come back. Okay? All right. Thank you for tuning in to Time for Change. We'll be right back.
Your attitude is what describes you. What you wanna be, well, it just may not be what the people see. It's up to your attitude to show the real you. Cause it's in your eyes, love. Here where the truth resides. Here comes the change, here comes the change, here comes the change. Your attitude is what describes you. What you wanna be, love, it just may not be what the people see. It's up to your attitude. To show the real you. Because it's in your eyes. Now, here where the truth resides. Your attitude. Yeah, describes you. What you wanna be just may not be what the see. It's up to your attitude, love. That's your love. What you wanna be.
Baby, the moment you left me was the very moment I began to wish for your return.
we were jamming in the studio,
yes,
y'all.
Yes. Okay. Michael Muse, shout out. Michael that was Muse. Nice.
Can you come up in here and do that for us, Michael? Live. Come in here and do that live, Michael.
Because he already been in the studio before.
I don't think we're going to go back, though. I was over here getting my food. So, but yeah, so we're back, and we're talking to Shannon. And yes. Before we left, I had mentioned to, talk to the listeners about if they're currently going through this situation of sexual abuse, molestation, or if they know someone that is, just kind of talk to the listeners.
So let me first say that my own experience, I never told anyone. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until I was 19 when I told the guy I was dating at the time. So I never told my mother. Mm-hmm. And that was in my way of protecting her, because my mother prided herself on being the type of mother that protected her children. So I knew finding out that this was happening in the house under her nose would just devastate her. Plus I was afraid I would be she would kill him and go to jail. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I didn't want to do that to my mother either. But I know that in some cases, this wasn't mine, that the abuser actually threatens the child. Mm-hmm. If you tell I'm going to do this or whatever, and it instills fear. Yeah. And so there are certain signs to look for with children that are going through that. They usually tend to withdraw. Mm-hmm. Their habits change. If they'll be around the person, I don't know if my mom ever noticed it, but like I never wanted to be around my father at all. If at one point that child seems to be loving towards the person and things change, then it might be a good time to watch what's going on. Right. But also making the child feel comfortable enough to know that if something is going on, they can come and talk to you, the parent. A lot of times I think that parents tend to kind of like not have that comfort level with children, and the child is afraid to come to them. But we can, especially nowadays, with everything that's happening in the world, your child has to be comfortable enough to come and sit and talk to you.
Absolutely.
And that goes back to that dinner talk and that dinner conversation that we were talking about on previous shows.
That's so important.
That if you don't have that type of, or that level of communication with your kid, and every time you turn around, all of you guys are stuck in your phones, and you never actually communicate with them, they don't know that they can come to you and even talk to you. Right? So we're not sitting around the dinner tables, so of course they don't feel comfortable coming to you, and then to tell you something of this nature.
Right. You gotta do check-ins. Sit down once a week, whatever, and just ask them, how are things going?
Right.
Especially little children, making them feel comfortable, like telling them nobody will touch you, period. And if anybody touches you in these places, then you need to tell me. And and I know parents do it, it's not something that I like when we're teaching our kids about our bodies and everything, we tend to use these flowery words.
Oh my goodness. Oh, yeah. We talk about that all the time. We got to do away with that.
Yeah.
Not your foo-foo.
Right.
Not your foo-foo.
Right.
We definitely have to get away from that. Because the predators ain't coming with those words. They're gonna talk those words to them, the same words you're afraid to tell them. But when if you don't teach them not to see those words in a negative light, like it's nothing about your body that's negative or anything. Exactly. So you have to teach them the difference. Exactly. And that's the issue.
Exactly.
That is the issue.
And I hate that, so I'm glad that came up. We have to teach them that if you're touched in this way, to let me know immediately, not to wait. Let them also know that even if the person says, I'm going to do whatever to your parent, no, they're lying to you. Come tell me immediately if this person touches you in the wrong way. And if, like I see this every day where I work, I can't say where I work, we'll get sexual abuse cases, and they're heartbreaking. And we'll have cases where they just push it under the rug. So you leave the child in the home with the abuser, and nothing's ever done. I don't know how that happens, but I'm not in that field to address it. But it's all about parents paying attention to
your children. You have to pay attention. We tell people, like around the holiday times, I kept putting a message out there telling parents that do not make your children hug and touch people. Even though it's the holidays, if that child don't like Uncle Bobby, don't make her go and hug Uncle Bobby. You don't know. That should be a red flag. Well, why are they acting like that with Uncle Bobby? Why they don't want to be around him? And it's so amazing because I listen and I hear so many women, grown women in 40s, 50s, 60 years old that still have to go and sit across the table during holidays from their abusers. Yeah. And everybody is sitting around acting like nothing happened.
Yes, that's exactly right. If I had kids now, I would be horrible because of my experience, it would be hard for me to trust anybody, particularly a man. Like, I don't like to see a little girl sitting in a man's lap, daddy or not. That just bothers me.
Right. Yes.
She should not be sitting in his lap. So, yeah, I would be horrible if I had a kid.
Yeah. Yeah. At a certain point,
but everybody,
you definitely have to, as a man, as a father and a daughter, at a certain point, you have to have boundaries.
Exactly.
You have to have boundaries.
Exactly.
And we all know it is your child, and yes, but don't tempt yourself.
Right. And
don't tempt
and
yourself.
It's sad that it has to be like that, because I remember I can remember crawling up in Pop-Pop's lap and, and being able to just lay there and go to sleep if I wanted to go to sleep, just like I would do with my grandmother. But I can remember being able to do that. So to hear that is like disheartening for me, but I didn't have the same experiences that you had. You know what I mean? So to me, I'm sitting here like, but I wanted to crawl up on daddy's lap and just go to sleep. But I totally understand what you're saying, because then to someone who has a different experience will see that and be like, no, don't do, that's not, So, that's hard though.
And I would say to anybody that's actually, if somebody's listening that's going through it now, the biggest thing is to know that it's not your fault.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
Yes.
The abuser will tend to make it feel like it's your fault. You dressed a certain way, or you walked a certain way, whatever the case may be. It's not your fault. It's their issue completely.
Totally.
Like, I had to reconcile that in my own mind, because I was trying to figure out, how could my father look at me at 4 years old and decide that I was supposed to be sex with him? I was confused about that. It wasn't my fault. That was his issue. But it took many years to get there, so I would want listeners to know it's not your fault at all.
Absolutely. It's never the victim's fault, no matter what they would. And it's so amazing with me when it comes to sexual abuse, and abuse period when it comes to men and women, is that you always having people when it comes to sexual abuse, well, why was she there and what did she have on? Right. It's never like, well, why did this man abuse this child or this woman? It's always victim blaming and pointing, and people wonder why victims don't come forward. That's why.
Right. Even with the Me Too movement.
Oh yeah.
So many of them are being shamed.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah. I tell you this, always go with the victim, and then we figure it out later. We'll figure it out later. But initially, go with the victim. Right. So that's my whole thing on that. Whole thing on that.
Absolutely.
Well, this definitely has been not just interesting, the conversation, but very informative. And it's important that we continue to have these conversations. That's why we do this, so that we can let people know that they are not alone. And that's why you wrote your book, to let people know that they don't have to go through this alone. Absolutely. And that there is life after abuse, like we always say. Because there are many people that have been through it and did commit suicide and didn't get through it. And so we do want to get on the other side of those hurdles and those mountains. So if people want to reach out to you,
I can be reached. I'm on Facebook. I'm Shannon D. Robinson. On Twitter, I am at Travel TRVLAGNT Chick.
Travel
TRVLAGNT Chick. CHICK. And the same on Instagram.
And also, give them where can they purchase your book and the title of your book?
So the title of the book is Wounds Healed, Scars Revealed. And if you Google Bounce Back DNA Movement, I'm not sure of the exact web address, the books can be purchased there. As well as She Helped Me Up.
Okay.
On there as well.
Okay. So definitely, guys, go there and check those books out and support Shannon. Support her in her cause and what she's doing to try to bring more awareness and education to sexual abuse and childhood abuse. So we definitely thank you. Thank you so much for coming on. We truly appreciate you.
Yes, we do. Thank you. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to another break, and our next guest will definitely be here. Jesus Gang is up next. So thank you for watching Time for a Change.
Yes.
just what to do. And that's always said, it's no mirage to me. Touching gently, feel the love in me. Tell me what you're gonna do with my loving. I'm crazy about your smiling eyes. What you gonna do with my loving? Please don't make me fantasize. What you gonna do with my loving? Tell me so hard, I've been daydreaming. All my pleasures make believe, but with you as my daydream, I never wanna leave. This feeling shines like a precious jewel, and if you want me, all my love is for you. Tell me what you're gonna do with my loving. I'm crazy about your smiling eyes. What you gonna do with my loving? Please don't make me fantasize. What you gonna do with my loving? Tell me What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Come on, baby. What you gonna do? Tell me. Tell me. Tell me. What you gonna do? Oh, baby. What you gonna do with my loving?
You love to feel the warmth, but I'm a flame you're afraid to touch. Dancing in the dark, you're hard to say it's me you want. Baby, there's a fire burning in your eyes. Don't try resisting, 'cause you know where it leads. So come into my heart, into my soul, into my sweet control. Into my heart, into my soul, into my life. Into my heart, into my sweet control. Baby, let me soothe you, show you the way to calm the storm. With you beside me now, let go completely. I'll give my all to you. Baby, I can feel your passion start to rise. No use resisting, 'cause you know where it leads. So come into my heart, into my soul, into my sweet control. into my sweet control. Baby, won't you come to me? Baby, come to me. Baby, won't you come to me, please? Oh, baby, won't you come to me? Baby, come to me. Oh, baby, won't you come to me, please? Oh, into my heart, into my soul, into my life, into my heart, into my sweet control.
Hello, 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 and welcome back to Time for a Change with Sherry
and Mickey on.
And as you can see, we have two gentlemen up here on live in the studio with us. So, you want to introduce? You want me to introduce?
Yeah, read the bio.
Okay.
Yeah,
let me read the bio. They gave us a bio. Mm-hmm. That's okay. So, Jesus Gang.
Yeah.
No. Lamont, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Lamont, CEO of Jesus Gang.
Yes, ma'am.
It is a ministry, clothing line, and a music organization.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a gospel rapper who speaks about God, positivity, and peace.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Gang has performed at many clubs, community days, churches, parties, etc., etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
In 2015, Jesus Gang was the finalist in WKYS 93.9's Give Drugs a Bad Rap contest. In 2017, Jesus Gang opened up for PNB Rock and Scola at the Fillmore in Silver Spring. In 2018, Jesus Gang was a Tony Reds contest winner and had his song Beast played live on WPGC. On April the 6th, Jesus Gang will perform at the Fillmore and opening up for Fat Trail and many more.
Woo woo! Yay!
Welcome, welcome.
God is good.
God is good. God is amazing. It's
Yes,
amazing.
He
It's been
is.
a crazy, crazy ride.
Can we
3
tell when
years.
we first met Fat Trail? Lord.
Yes, Lamont. Yes.
I'm sorry.
That's good.
Yes. Please share the story. Yes.
Okay, so we went to an expo, a small business expo out in Waldorf at, what is that, post office something?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
Yep.
And we went to this, and it was like a networking event, and we went in and we saw them there with all of these T-shirts said Jesus Gang.
Yes.
And we were like, what is Jesus Gang? So that's where we met him.
Yep.
And
Seemed like yesterday.
yeah, and that was like maybe a year ago.
Almost, yeah, a year. At least a year.
Relaxing Business Expo, yeah.
So we finally got you on the show.
It's an honor. It's a
Yes.
pleasure. It's an honor.
Thank
I'm
you
humbled
for
to be
coming.
here. Thank you for having all of us.
Yes,
Appreciate
thank
you.
you,
Appreciate
thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
We got some other artists. We got some other artists up in the studio too. They sit back chilling, but they up in here too.
Shout out Geek Squad.
The Geek Squad.
All the way from Kansas.
All the way from Kansas, y'all.
Oh,
They is
wow.
up in
Yeah.
here.
We got Kansas in the house.
Yep, just got back from Miami.
Yeah.
Just got back from
They
Miami.
work hard too.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
right.
And
I don't know. We get a little bit of time. We got to put y'all on the spot and get y'all up on the stage. I know
you
y'all
right
ready
on
though,
the
right?
spot.
They
Yeah,
always
y'all
ready.
ready. Y'all ready.
Yes,
Okay.
always ready.
So share with us, Lumon, how did Jesus Gang come about? And you know, with today's music and you being so young, why was it so important for you to give the platform to God to share His message?
That's a lot, and because that's a hard question. I get that all the time. But the easiest way to explain it is, it came about, started just as a clothing line, and when I grew up on, Gucci Mane and J. Cole. But I didn't really identify with that because, like I said, I had my struggles. My father, being absent, but came back in my life. But those experiences didn't really change the way I should reflect it in music. So me and my sister got together after the clothing line. I started making music. I became a PRP coordinator in PG County, working with the kids, and they always played a certain music. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. But what about positivity? What can you talk about positively about? And it's actually like a therapy for myself and for them, because like let's play a game. Like, let's tell me something good you can rap about that's not about, you know, killing people or, you know, other things. So you know, and it's hard to earn your respect doing what I do and going to these places, but at the same time, God's worked it out. So we hit a platform where it's, you know, we can't be stopped.
There's always
and Cody G, my right hand man.
Yeah, there's always somebody that hears, like, I do like a lot of clubs and stuff, and we come together, and when they hear Jesus Gang, there's always at least a few people that come to him saying, I heard what you said and I respect it. This is behind the scenes, it's not on stage. And we'll be walking out the door and somebody would say that, and they'll end up being a fan after that, honestly. Like, we going to Fat Trail, like, we open up for him. It's a whole nother lane. But we'll be the, you know what I'm saying, he'll be the only gospel artist there doing that. But you can't even tell in the music sometimes because it's so good. You can't just be like, oh, he's a gospel artist. He's just an artist of my eyes. But at the same time, it's like, people still listen at the end of the day.
That's right.
Somebody in the crowd listens.
Yeah, God said your gift will make room for you.
Okay.
And he will open up doors to places where people be like, how you get here?
Yeah, because
I'm here.
Yeah, 'cause if I was even if I did the same thing and I didn't claim gospel, I don't think I'd be as this far. I mean, it's just honestly because like this music is it's such a hard field to excel in. It's probably the most diluted profession in the history of professions right now because everyone feels like they can do music. Everyone. So.
I think it's because, and it's when you when you're true in your music, like when you're true to yourself, that's what goes far. A lot of people try to be something they're not.
Right.
So that affects everything. People can read you through your music. They know if somebody's playing. They know if you're really a gangbanger. They know if you really are a gospel artist. You know what I mean? So that's
absolutely.
And it's so important to give that positive music and speak on Jesus, because we have to get outside of these church walls.
Exactly.
And we have to start reaching audiences that are outside of the everyday, back in the day church, right?
That will never step foot in the church.
Some people will never go because they call us such hypocrites that they will never go. But we still need to save souls, right?
Yes.
And we still need to get the message out there, however that may look. And it may not look the same for some, but in the way that you're delivering it, somebody's going to have an aha moment.
That's
exactly.
Right.
That's my hope and that's my prayer. And honestly, I've gotten more love from the streets, or just, you know, from the streets per se, than actual churches.
Honey, we can have a show on that. We can have a show on that, because me too, even with my platform, I get more love from the streets than I do from the church. Like, for instance, I'm just going to throw this out there, but this weekend I went and spoke at an event, Gays Against Guns. They are against gun violence. And when I go to these other places, and all these people welcome me, and then when I go to the church and try to get that same message to tell it, they want to know, well, what are you going to say? And what you're going to do and this and that. It's always so much red tape when you're trying to go do something in church. I'm like, okay, I'm a minister of the word too. It's just that I'm not a pastor. I'm not a pastor, but my words and my ministry is from God as well.
Well, I'm with you.
So, you know, it's hard.
It's a lot of haters out here. But as long as God told you to do what you got to do, it's going to be powerful.
Because God has ordered your steps. Right?
Absolutely.
And who is anybody to tell anybody that the way that God has ordered your steps is not the right way?
Absolutely.
And that's why, even when I do, because I've done songs with all kinds of artists, and I encourage them to be creative. I try not to, please don't curse, but you can still say what you want. It's just, as long as you're true to yourself, And I tell the kids they want to do songs that are in my program. Shout out Allen Aouk Behavioral Health Center. That's where I work. But I try to tell them that, we can come to the studio with me. You just have to be positive. You can't just talk about what you was just rapping about. I want to hear you say something different, So that's the challenge.
Yeah, we have to get back to that. We have to get back to that. Our words have power.
Yes.
They do.
And everybody's different. So your music not going to be, everybody's music shouldn't sound the same.
No.
Absolutely.
I get so tired of it. Every once in a while, when I want to get my groove on, y'all heard me say I like to dance.
Yes, we do.
Every once in a while, I can, get my dance on. But every once in a while, you're like, are you serious? Like, you sound like the last one, and everybody is saying the same thing.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It gets annoying after a while. So
just be yourself.
It's so annoying.
Be yourself.
Nobody wants to hear all that jitterbug music.
Not all the time, you know. Just let's just hear something different sometimes, you know. I'm with you. I'm with
Shoot 'em
you.
up, sexing. Everybody's sexing and screwing. And everybody.
Pro abstinence. We are pro abstinence on this show here. Y'all know me. 26 months in.
I applaud you.
Yes, thank you.
Wait, what you say?
Pro abstinence.
We're pro abstinence on this show. I am 26 months in, so thank you.
Respect.
Yeah.
Respect.
It's like after sex.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yes, no sex.
How many months?
26.
It's been 4 months for me.
Okay. Anybody else?
We not going down the
Anybody
table.
else want to share? 3 years. Woo, woo!
All right.
Yes. Give it up. I'm telling you, it changes your life when you shut. I'm telling you, but it changes your life when it's another perspective on that. You don't be all cloudy and a lot of things where you can't turn away from. So you can see how things are going one way and say, you know what? Now I'm gonna back up from here. I'm gonna go another route. It's easier, you know, because your mind is not all caught up into the other whole sexual part that keeps you connected with a person that you know you shouldn't be with.
That's very
Now,
true.
yeah. Now, I can say that person is gone, but okay, so let's move on.
Okay, so what we're gonna do, but we're gonna have a show. We're gonna have a show May 7th, and it's gonna be dedicated to abstinence. And
the day I'm not here.
Yeah.
Don't you think I need to hear this?
Yeah, you do. You can catch the replay.
I had to watch the
You have to catch
replay.
the replay. So May 7th, we're having a show that's dedicated to abstinence,
Oh, that's
about you know
awesome.
getting back to saving yourself and preserving yourself, because everybody that's interested
Yeah.
ain't eligible.
Okay.
So, with that being said, we're going to
That's
take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to have Jesus Gang on the stage. So you're watching Time for a Change.
Baby, I love your body when you dance.
Welcome back to Time for a Change with Sherry
and McKeon.
And we have live entertainment in the studio tonight. So, Jesus Gang.
Woo woo!
Let's get it. This song's called Beast. It's off the Good News album, out on iTunes,
Beast.
Spotify, wherever you need music. It's there. It's called The Good News by Jesus Gang. We're gonna turn up one time for y'all real quick.
One time for the one song. Hey.
Play with a beast, you getting a beast. Breaking a chain, fresh off the leash. Crushing the world while yelling the lead. Crazy old world is yelling out shit. I am a sinner, not a beginner. Eating these verses all up for dinner. Earning my stripe, not a pretender. Falling for truth, yelling out. Hey. Play with a beast, you getting a beast. Breaking a chain, fresh off the leash. Crushing the world while yelling the lead. Crazy old world is yelling out. Whoa. I am a sinner, not a beginner. Eating these verses all up for dinner. Earning my stripe, not a pretender. Falling for truth, yelling out timber. Seeing the hate, it's all on my way. Playing the games I don't really play. They doing the drugs to be okay. Tired of seeing these killers turn dealers. I give them a mirror. I needed a minute, ain't even in it. The price is a lot, they rushing to spend it. World's crazy, man. Plans never go as planned. Sacrifice time just to be a family man. They selling all the pills for all the family vans. Life is a cutthroat, speaking of utmost. Want my wings, focus on rumbles. You don't even come close. Sin is sin, world is falling, not that bleak. My God is falling, pray these suckers done. Move out my way, nothing more to really say. They need to go like they from the DMV. Talk like they pros though, that's enough promo. I'm seeing the things, I'm doing the things. The Lord knows the things, the truth I can't forego. I can't change, this time is short, I spare change. Walking on tundra, Jesus Gang, I'm not about drama. Got no fear, I'm walking up on you. They're begging my pardon, I'm praying up on you. My sins have been pardoned, I'm not gonna bother. Really the start, I'm highly regarded. You getting a beat, breaking the chain, fresh off the leash. Crushing the world while yelling elite. Crazy old world is yelling out shit. I am a sinner, not a beginner. Eating these verses all up for dinner. Earning my strength, not a pretender. Falling for truth, yelling out timber. Play with a beast, you getting a beast. Breaking a chain, fresh off the leash. Crushing the world while yelling elite. Crazy old world is yelling out shit. I am a sinner, not a beginner. Eating these verses all up for dinner. Earning my strength, not a pretender. Falling for truth, yelling out timber. I'm counting it out, so dropping the drum. I'm dropping the drum, I'm drowning it down. We even, I'm leaving, and I got a meeting. I'm leaving and Steven, and Christ is the reason. We rising like Caesar, not fucking Shirley. Fly like we early, back goes the birdie. World is dirty, world is dirty, world is dirty, world is dirty. Hear the good news, bring me a new attitude. Heaven or hell, you're right to choose. Heaven a privilege to lose. They needed an end, I'm headed for trouble. All in a minute, my focus on biblical incidents. Blessings are coming my way. Anger is coming to play. I can't stop, I won't sway. You fools to me, looking for spirits I already see. Now demons are evil, they already free. Can we just focus on God? Looking for staff, the holy rock. Need to oblige, I can't really lie. I'm looking for God. The world is heinous, can I contain it? Can I explain it? Slightly insane, real tough. Take notes, grab chalk, Final Four, no Jayhawk, that's cold. I'm getting old, my old goals are new goals. Finally time a totem pole, this life takes a great toll. I learned it all from J. Cole, Play with a beast, you getting a beast, breaking a chain, fresh off the leash. Crushing the world while yelling elite. Crazy old world is yelling out sheesh. I am a sinner, not a beginner, eating these verses all up for dinner. Earning my stripe, not a pretender, falling for truth, yelling out timber. Play with a beast, you getting a beast, breaking the chain, fresh off the leash. Crushing the world while yelling elite. Crazy old world is yelling out sheesh. I am a sinner, not a beginner, eating these verses all up for dinner. Earning my stripe, not a pretender, falling for truth, yelling out timber. Again, that's Beast. We got
Beast one time.
Beast, and we have one more song for y'all. Cody G, take the lead.
Yeah. This next
Good
song
news
is
album.
a little love song we did. You can stay on that side because they're cool. You know what I'm saying? This is called Time. And it's a love song pretty much. You like somebody, but y'all might not have it right. It might not be the perfect time for this. So.
Right.
Shout out to Lay on the Hook.
See you down. Don't wanna see me cry. I got too much time for you.
Time for you.
You got too much time for me.
Yeah.
Hey, I wanna see you down. You don't wanna see me cry. I got too much time for you. Too much.
Yeah.
You got too much time for me.
I got too much time for you. You got too much time for me.
Baby, you my
missing world. I'm your only, can't you see? I got a lot on my plate, but missing our first date. Like, why wait? Let's move at the right pace.
Hey,
keep the faith, so I'll make space.
Hey,
seen your eyes and I knew you was a winner. Still remember what you had for dinner. Brought me to your parents. How could you stop caring? And I seen your mama staring, and I kissed you. You was daring me, Cody G. If I don't hold you, then I can't sleep. I get weak, hey, without you. Hey, so what you trying to do? Hey, I ain't no fool. I know love, and my heart beats just for you. So ain't no problems. We ain't just friends. So ain't no problems. We ain't just friends. Either I'm with you or it's the end. Either I'm with you or it's the end. Hey,
yeah,
don't wanna see you down.
Nah.
Don't wanna see you cry.
Nah. I got too much time for you. Hey, what?
You got too much time for me. Hey,
yeah.
I don't wanna see you down.
See you down.
You don't wanna see me cry.
Hey, ha.
Hey,
got.
I got too much time for you.
Too much for you.
You got too much time for me.
Yeah.
Don't wanna see you down.
Hey,
You
don't wanna see me cry.
yeah. Hey,
I got too much time for you.
let's go.
Yeah.
You got too much time.
Hey.
Came a long way, came a long way. You my queen, not my girl. Need some Chardonnay, need affection, need some Chardonnay. Yeah. Can't make a story up. Blessed, don't need no luck. Give my all, yes my heart. Must be crazy, not apart. Talk about love, not about lust. Just thinking back, looking right back. Just us, hand by hand, cause a fuss.
Yeah.
Share my show all the time. We together. Our love is in the Hall of Fame like Bobby Becker. Whoa. Our union never severed.
Hey.
Love is gone like a tether through the good times and the bad times. From the start like game time. Feel that God got us strong all along. If you ever want to quit, play it up, turn it up, play this song.
Hey, Malay, what's up?
Lade era.
See you down.
Songs off his album.
Yeah. Lade
era.
Let's get it.
CDs for sale.
For $10.
So a good news album for me. Lade era right
era.
here. Time. Appreciate y'all. Thank you
Thank you guys for having us.
Thank you. You guys are awesome. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you. That was awesome.
Can you give your information real quick again?
Sure. It's
You can find me at Cody Glade. That's CODY, last name GLAUDE. Again, you can find. No.
All right, it's at Official Jesus Gang on Instagram and on Facebook. It's again at Official Jesus Gang. Get the Good News album. It's a good album.
Yes,
Change your life. All about good news. We all need it. Amen. Appreciate y'all.
Amen.
Amen. Woo, woo. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
It's always nice to have some positive young men.
We love the positivity.
Yes, we love the positivity. And so we're going to take a quick break.
Yes.
And we'll be right back.
Yes.
And we might even have a little bit
Because
more
our other guests
entertainment
that's
for you.
in the studio are going to take the stage. This is a surprise, y'all.
Surprise, y'all.
All the way from where?
Kansas.
Kansas.
Did I say it with the right accent? Kansas.
Kansas. So we'll be right back. You're watching Time for a Change.
All right. Welcome back to Time for a Change. And we have live in the studio Geek Squad.
Geek
Two
Squad.
brothers
How you doing?
From Topeka, Kansas.
Top City, stand up.
Stand up.
My name is Jay Fish, and yes, like they said, I'm from Topeka, Kansas. This is my brother, Coach. And we're going to perform a song we did off our album we just dropped called Diddy's World, in dedication of our best friend, DJ, that was killed August 7th, 2016, along with his unborn child and his girlfriend. So we dedicated this to him because he was our number one fan. He came to every single show. He always showed us love, so we got to show it back. Yeah. We're missing a member. She couldn't make it to DC with us today, but we're gonna sing this for her. Let's vibe.
Every time I step up on the scene, I'm hella queen and they be watching.
They be watching me. When we leave the function, all the women come with us cause they be flocking. Hey, with the gang tryna slide in the lanes. Gotta hit them all, get fresh for the day. Hit champs 200 on the J's. Dress retwisted, I'ma gon' let them swing. We got this function jumping. We won't turn down for nothing. Ain't tryna cause no problems. I'm just tryna leave with something. If they ain't looking, I don't wanna. If I take her home, I'ma put it in a coma. Head on straight, no diploma. A lot of brothers acting like they wanna. If she looking at me, she a gonna. Swag often, we saucing. Finesse your chick, now she all in. We ballin', Mike Jordan. Pop the bottles, keep pouring. On the scene, I'm hella clean and they be watching. They be watching me. When we leave the function, all the women come with us cause they be flocking. When I pull up, they be watching, they be flocking on me. I ain't got the time to watch it just for stunting on me. Use a chick, change hanging on my neck. All about a dollar, stay getting to the check. Coach, I'm official, not a referee. They mad, can't let them get the best of me. We poppin', function jumping, man, we too lit. Swag, yeah, I got it, finna go in. I be making a profit, it can't fit in my wallet. I'm a geek, I got knowledge, be the best of my mama. I've been solving me some problems, I've been toting them llamas. I can't wait for the summer, with a chick, her name Summer. I've been adding them digits, all us know that I'm with it. You ain't down, you ain't with it. Ben snatch me a ticket, catch a jerk like I'm fishing. And your chick, I be digging, put your chick on the mission. Yeah. Chris Leo, Copter Mad Ego.
Oh, thank you. That was Geek Squad watching, and yeah, thank you. Thank you for having us on. Yeah, appreciate it. Geek Squad. That was called Watching. You can find all the our album on Spotify, iTunes, Deezer, Tidal, every digital platform. We have our own Pandora station called Geek Squad Radio. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on
so
right now.
So I just went on Apple. So what am I putting in?
Geek Squad, GEEK, with a $sign for the S, and it's all one word, and QUAD after that.
Okay.
And then you find it that way.
Okay.
Yeah, we just came back from Miami, South Beach, to do a show with Cody. So we're kind of tired. We didn't go to sleep before his show for 48 hours. So.
Oh wow!
Yeah, we left the plane. We left Miami and came straight here off stage. So yeah.
What kind of Red Bulls y'all drink?
No Red Bull. Just a lot of coffee. Just a lot of coffee.
Good. Great.
Well, we definitely thank you guys so much for that, and definitely shout out y'all friends. So sorry to hear that, but definitely to keep his memory alive.
Oh
so
yeah, thank you.
Awesome.
World. Thank you for letting us, get up here and tell about our friend, because that's the most important thing to me.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. And if you ever come back to DC, you guys could definitely come back to Vox Wave on Time for a Change, and we would definitely give you guys a platform.
Definitely.
Hey,
and keep doing what you're doing,
to
guys. Even to Jesus Gang that was on before.
Shout out to Jesus Gang.
Jesus Gang!
If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't even came today.
Exactly.
I also wanted to say RIP to Camera. She was my friend's girlfriend at the time.
Okay.
And yeah, so I want to say RP to her too.
Right.
Rest in peace,
Rest
sweetie.
in peace,
Yes,
sweetie.
yes, yes.
Wow.
Thank you guys so much. Oh my goodness.
I tell you.
Thank you.
So
You
this
just
has
never
been
know.
another awesome show, Miss Sherry.
Awesome. I mean, just totally awesome. The entertainment was amazing. Our guest Shannon
Yes.
was amazing.
Oh my goodness.
We even had a guest in the studio today that watched us live. Shout out to Renee.
Shout out to Renee. She's sitting here checking us out.
So yeah, we definitely had an awesome show, and I am looking forward to next Monday.
Yes, looking forward to next week. So we thank you guys for
As
tuning
usual, we will see you next Monday here live in the studio, 6:30 to 8 p.m. Turn into Time for a Change with Sherry
and Mikion.
And we will definitely have some conversation for you, some real talk conversation for you. And let's get involved in our community. Let's get involved. No more excuses. It's time for a change.
Time for a change. See you next week.
We're going to the Sapphire Room. I heard it was totally off the chain. It's got the most sexiest men. Are you all ready? Are you ready? Let me tell you, we're going to do it like this. Hey, Mr. Sexy Man, what your name is? What your name is? I saw you when you stepped into the club. The way you walk, the way your body moves. I was out there dancing on the floor. I was out of step, 'cause I was watching you. You're one fine, sexy looking man. Standing over there with that Hennessy in your hand. I'm looking at you, you're looking at me. I'm thinking about the possibility. Hey, Mr. Sexy Man, what your name is? What your name is? Hey, Mr. Sexy Man, what your name is? What your name is? I had to come and ask you for a dance. You know this tiger had to take a chance. I just love the